viewers, this is another video from your friendly neighborhood reviewer Evelyn. Today we're going to be continuing to review the new Korean drama series, See You in My 19th Life. Okay, the video that I originally posted, I'm not very happy with it because the audio came out really horrible. So I'm not going to redo that video, more like continue on with the episode 7 to 8, what the story is so far. I'm still a bit shocked to realize it only has 12 episodes, so we got 4 more episodes and we're done. Like this weekend coming out will be episode 9 and 10. So to get straight to the point, Bang Jeom has finally confessed at the end of episode 8 to Moon So-ha that she was the previous 18th life of Yoon Ju-won, which leaves him surprised of Moon So-ha. The only reason she told him this because she ended up finding out that in her 19th life, her dad had a hand in causing the car crash that went and killed her, her previous lifetime and left Moon So-ha permanently traumatized. He finds this out because Bang Jeom's brother and father, they connected with this loan shark that has evidence with that. But before Moon So-ha can confront this loan shark, he gets pushed off from this high abandoned building and there's like a chase and Bang Jeom's there. Now in episode 7 we have the introductions of these other 2 characters in which they can remember also their past life, which is Kang Min-gi and Hannah. The woman apparently was Moon So-ha's mother in the past life, but in flashbacks she knew when she encountered another person that remembered their past life but really never said anything. And this other guy of Kang Min-gi, my understanding in this life he's an archaeologist, but we see that he's carrying around these shaman bells that each time that Bang Jeom holds it, she's able to remember more about her first life. So we start to see the reasoning between why Moon So-ha keeps on popping up in Bang Jeom's 18th and 19th life. Apparently in the first life, she gets some glimpses of her face, the actress face of Shin Hae-sun. I'm just assuming things, but I think in the first life Shin Hae-sun maybe could have been a queen or God knows what, and this archaeologist guy, by the looks of it, could have been the king. And Moon So-ha, who appeared in the first life, maybe could have been an assassin, a military guy, and maybe there was a lot of miscommunication. Typically with these reincarnation plot lines, if you've seen Goblin, it's down to a mistake they did in their first life, that something stopped people from being together or connecting, and it's deemed punishable by the god or the cosmos, and they have to be like replaying their lifetime over and over again. Since this only has 12 episodes, I doubt they're going to drag it on too long. And the other bit is, even though that Bang Jeom didn't remember her very first life or any association with Moon So-ha, I don't see how that could be an issue because that's the first life. Like, Bang Jeom is Bang Jeom at the moment. That's what she makes clear. Because the other bit as well, she's finally confessed to her sister from her previous life that she's Bang Jeom. Now that bit was so tearful because the actress doing the sister part of Yoon Ju-won, you recognize her from Extraordinary Attorney Woo Young-gu. And the child actor, very similar, just like transition with the show of Yoon Ju-won crying, telling Bang Jeom, stop pretending to be my sister. In that moment she goes and confesses to her. It takes some time for Yoon Ju-won to believe her because since she was a kid when her older sister died, she may not have that much recollections. But when Bang Jeom goes and tells us some certain memories, Yoon Ju-won goes and tells her mother over the phone, do you remember this, do you remember that? And the mother confirms all the facts that Bang Jeom went and said. And they have that reunion and she says, I believe you, but if I to find out you're lying, I'll never forgive you. Now the character of Yoon Ju-won, oh my god, she's so sweet. She almost reminds me of literally the same child actor that you've seen in Good Bad Mother. And of course she takes a lot of the lead role of Bang Jeom's acting with Moon So-ha, with her own love interest, or Moon So-ha's friend of Ha Do-young. So they're the second lead relationship going on in the show. So ultimately, when Moon So-ha finds out that Bang Jeom's dad was implicated with this, he's left a little bit uneasy and he acts a little bit different towards Bang Jeom. But the point when he starts to realize that Bang Jeom is maybe also a victim in all of this is when Bang Ji-yeon's father goes to the hotel where she's working with Moon So-hwa and demands for her to go down, and we can see Bang Ji-yeon's disgust at seeing her dad acting a fool, acting abusive, and Moon So-hwa goes and walks down to see the commotion, and he's able to see Bang Ji-yeon's father for what he is, a piece of work. And Bang Ji-yeon goes and takes her father out from the hotel by force and shoves him in a taxi. And then afterwards, Moon So-hwa goes to Bang Ji-yeon and says, you know, you did good, whatever you did. And Moon So-hwa goes and invites Bang Ji-yeon to his house to have some dinner. Because of course, in episode 7, Moon So-hwa finally admits that he does like Bang Ji-yeon, but to give him some time because he really wants to find out who ordered the hit on his first love in his eyes of Yoon Ju-won, because he wants to know for his sake of mind, because part of Moon So-hwa's complex, this character Moon So-hwa, he feels really guilty because he knew that the attack was meant to be for him, because since his family owns hotels and X, Y, and Z, he's having what they say survivor's guilt, and of course on the top of that he's left permanently with hearing loss in one of his ears, so therefore he's carrying around this guilt. But he realizes that maybe he needs to change a little bit for Bang Ji-yeon because he really does like her, and he kind of starts to feel like, why is he so similar to Ju-won? So Bang Ji-yeon goes to Moon So-hwa's house, they're having a dinner, and while Moon So-hwa is cooking, she goes and tells Moon So-hwa, the guy that you saw is my dad. I haven't had and she goes into a monologue saying that you can survive the bad days with someone when you remember good memories of them. And she tells Moon So-hwa, I remember no good memories of my dad. And she goes and tells him that I ran away, and that leaves him stunned. In that moment, he's like, okay, she's another victim in this. And any maybe doubts he may have had of Bang Ji-yeon's appearance and the connection with the car crash kind of simmer away. But at the same time, Bang Ji-yeon finds the bag and the evidence that the loan shark boss's underling left behind, and she goes and confronts her father for one last time, saying if he had a hand, and he goes and confesses that it was only meant to be a slight collision, nobody was meant to die, and she goes and says, this will be the last time that I see you. And when she goes back to Moon So-hwa's place, and he realizes when he hears the recording of who was the one that asked for the accident to happen, it turned out to be, I think, another, how can I say, a guy that has been within the family, and I assume that Moon So-hwa sees him maybe as a father figure, and he goes completely nuts. Well, out of his mind, because I guess in that sense, when you're rich, if you come from a rich son, you have to be careful of the people around you because they're only probably there for your money. Bang Ji-yeon goes back to the house, she sees Moon So-hwa in pieces, and he goes in the midst and says, we can never be exactly together because we'll be forever carrying around this guilt. And she goes and thinks in her head, if I were to tell you the truth, would this alleviate your guilt? And at the end, we have that shot of she playing the music that only she would know as the previous life of Yoon Ju-won, and Moon So-hwa goes and says, where did you learn that? And then flashbacks intertwine that Bang Ji-yeon says word by word what in her previous life, in the previous body she is, or the dialogue that she told the young Moon So-hwa. And then she goes and confesses at the end, in my past life, I was Yoon Ju-won, and we get left there, close. So far this series is really a sweet series. I have no idea why they've cut it to 12 episodes. Maybe that's the show writers, people that wrote for this, thought that this would encapsulate the story essentially. Kind of feel like these two other characters that can reincarnate also popping up is a little bit strange. But I guess it all makes sense at the end that I have a feeling in each life that Bang Ji-yeon has been going through, I think Moon So-hwa was also reincarnated as well. That maybe they knew each other, that they was always together in some sort of capacity, maybe as mother, son, as, you know, lovers in different phases. And in this particular 19th life, they're back to their original faces. So we can maybe see a storyline playing out of here. I think in the first life, there was something of miscommunication. That's to be the big reason. But anyway, I'll leave the video here at the end. You guys let me know what you think. And as I leave you always, stay safe. Bye.